What's up, everybody? This is D-Doc. Welcome back. Per your popular request from an earlier video, we're going to talk about how to remember vocabularies cyberpunk style. With this approach, you're going to remember loads of words with your ears, hands, and mouth in a time crunch, while improving your listening and speaking skills. It's an extremely robotic, systematic, and streamlined process, which is why I'm calling it cyberpunk. But it's most definitely not an easy route. So if you're looking for a shortcut or something like an instant memory type of thing, turn off this video. There's no such thing, anywhere frankly. There's two parts to this video. Part one is the actual nuts and bolts of how I go over a vocabulary list every time. And then part two, I'll share my systematic learning schedule, which takes full advantage of the world famous forgetting curve. The demo vocabulary book that I'm using here is this one on the screen. Disclaimer, I was not paid by them by any means. Honestly, any book with a similar audio tape will serve you just fine. I'm quoting this one simply because I went through it when I was 16. Alright, part one. This is how I go through a vocabulary list.
Balance.
Balance. Balance. Balance. Balance. Balance.
Brochure.
Brochure.
小册子
Brochure. Brochure.
Careless.
Careless.
粗心的
Careless. Careless. Careless.
Looks plain and simple, right? Look closer. Let me take you inside my brain to see my three-step active memorizing process. First, I try to remember the sound I heard with my ears, knowing that's going to be the exact same sound of that word appearing in another listening material somewhere down the road. So that's how doing vocab helps with your listening skills. Second, repeat out loud the sound as close to the original as possible. How well you imitate in this step determines how much better you get with speaking. This is a key step that I think a lot of kids are missing. On that note, one thing that strikes me throughout the years is that there's a lot of hardworking students trying to memorize vocabularies in the library where you can't talk. To me, that's like taking away 2 out of the 4 pillars that hold the English language together: speaking and writing. Without pronouncing the word, how do you expect to spell it out with phonics? For those of you hearing about phonics for the very first time, it's basically the most natural and intuitive way of speaking and spelling English. And don't worry, I made this video before to tell you all about phonics. Feel free to check it out. And that leads to our last step, which is to spell out the word with your hands, while pronouncing the word by its phonics, like this.
Collective. Collective. Conductivity. Conductivity. Conductivity.
I will keep writing until the audio skips over to the next word. Don't ever stop. Needless to say, this helps you with writing and spelling. Alright, that's a lot, I know. Now take a deep breath. We're going to move on to the second part. How to architect your memory cycle, exploiting the forgetting curve. Here's a curve. There's various versions and different timing floating around, but the general shape is the same. You forget almost 70% of what you just learned in one day. One single day. What we need to do is to tune that curve up, like this. Research shows after 1 day, 3 days, and 6 days are the 3 key memory points to pick those newly acquired knowledge back up. So I will go back to repeat the exact same workflow in part 1 on the same vocabulary list after 1 day, 3 days, and 6 days. The first run, I don't expect to actually remember much, but just to leave a good impression. After 1 day, I would try my very best to memorize everything. Then 3-day and 6-day reviews are where the heavy lifting happens. I would pause the audio to solidify the ones that I struggle with and skip over the ones that I already know too well. Finally, one bonus tip to speed up this somewhat tedious operation. Try to pause the audio as little as possible. This ensures that you're on track of finishing the book at a steady speed and not wasting time on words that you're going to forget soon anyways, especially during the first 2 runs. I used to spend 2 to 4 hours a day doing this for like 4 months. The audio for each list is about 5.5 minutes long. With pauses, I would consider them about 7.5 minutes long. That means I can go through 16 lists a day in just 2 hours. Among those 16, typically 2 to 4 are new lists. The rest are all review lists based on my schedule. By the way, the review lists usually take me maybe twice as long. This book has 45 lists, 8,000 words. I went over it 6-7 times. That bumped up my TOEFL score from 68 to 100 in just 4 months. In the end, I just want to say, it's not easy. It's not supposed to be. Nothing great comes easy. This is T-Dog. Make it happen.